2009 will go down as many fearful things, but one of them will be the year of the major Ponzi scheme between Bernie Madoff, which really was the main one, and then, of course, Alan Stanford. Tens of thousands of investors have lost tens of billions of dollars. So to help prevent future Ponzi schemes, there's a new idea, a private security company, Mark, which has a solution. We're going to show it to you exclusively this morning. Chris Falkenberg is president and founder of Insite Security. Elizabeth Prial is a behavioral psychologist and former FBI agent. This is on purpose, everyone. You cannot see her face because she's actually the one who goes in and does on-site investigations, and for that reason, she needs to protect her identity. So it is an interesting image on our screen here. Chris, let's start with you. What exactly are you doing that would prevent, really specifically prevent, another Bernie Madoff?
Aaron, the history of fraud is always of an intelligent criminal who understands what the due diligence efforts are and finds a way to overcome them. What we have here, using behavioral analysis as a means of identifying somebody when they're being deceptive, when they're lying, as a means of providing an investor a due diligence effort or a way of checking veracity that a potential prospective fraudster can't overcome. And
Elizabeth Prial, what about your job? You were in the FBI. You're basically what, a human lie detector? What do you do when you go into a workplace?
Well, basically what I do is a credibility assessment, and there are 4 areas that I would focus on. One is facial action. The second is micro-expressions. Thirdly, I look at body language. And lastly, I do a statement analysis on the client's written and verbal statements. It's a holistic approach that takes into account all these factors, and not one of them is more important than the others.
Mr. Falkenberg, you think you could have caught Bernie Madoff sooner?
Well, in a minute, Dr. Prial will discuss certain components of photographs of Madoff during different public appearances, which indicate a series of emotions. But yes, looking at Dreyer, at Israel from Bayou, at Stanford, all of these folks, when you look at their statements and their affect, when they're making these statements, there are obvious signs of deception which couldn't be revealed in the public documents, but which Dr. Prial and other behavioral scientists will be able to figure out. So yes, I'm confident that we would have been able to figure out there's something wrong here and advise the client this may not be the best move.
Dr. Prial, you think you would have figured it out?
I think what I could have done is pointed to areas where he was uncomfortable or being evasive or acting different from his baseline, and that would be areas where the investor should probe further. And the further exploration could have revealed that he was operating a Ponzi scheme.
Have you seen an increase in business, Chris, or not?
No, we are extremely busy. And since we launched this practice area quite recently, we've gotten an enormous amount of interest from both high net worth individuals, from fund-to-fund managers who are doing assessments of prospective sub-managers, and hedge funds who need help in assessing the veracity of people who they talk to regarding their investment strategies.
So you do your thing and then you what? Write a report for the client?
No, in fact, I would give real-time feedback to our client. I would be present in the meeting, which is another reason why you're not showing my face. The subject of the meeting would not know that I was there to do a credibility assessment. So I would participate in the meeting as part of the management team, and I would be a passive observer because the interviewer is focused on the next question and a follow-up question and what the person's answer is, whereas I'll be looking at the nonverbals, the behaviors in response to questions, in response to different probes that the investor might be looking at. And then we'll take a break and I can provide the investor with advice of areas where the person seemed uncomfortable, evasive, deceptive, or misleading, and they can follow up on that.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. Chris Falkenberg, president and founder of Insite Security, and Elizabeth Prial, a behavioral psychologist, former FBI agent.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you.